I just went 4,000 miles with the most popular DIY roof rack on the internet, and now I'm going to show you how and why it's made with something invented in 1924 called a Unistrut.
At your service.
Thank you, Mr. Strut. Would you mind if we take a little closer look at your work?
The main structure is made from one 10-foot piece of Unistrut. These spacers are made with high-pressure PVC. We got washers and bolts and these spring nuts for connecting Unistrut pieces to each other. The only thing I had a hard time finding locally were the couplings that actually attach the rack to your SUV. And that's because they're metric, and the United States of America doesn't do that. The first thing you do is cut the strut. You can do this with a hacksaw, but if you have a circular saw, you can use a metal cutting blade with a metal name. After your quick metal montage, you'll have 4 small feet and 2 longer pieces, which are your crossbars. The next parts were a suggestion by Sparky for leveling the feet and taking some of the stress off the bolts. To make these, just pop the covers off your SUV, unscrew these little capper things that hold the rails on. I don't really know what they're called. Set your PVC down into this recess, mark the height you want, and cut them up. You could also do this with a hacksaw. To install the rack, you'll first have to add these couplings. The way this works is there is a bolt in the rail on the SUV facing up. You screw this coupling onto that, then you'll use these bolts and washers to anchor your rack to your SUV rails. So I added the couplings, put the PVC spacers into place, and set the feet on those. The ones in the back are a bit taller to make them level with the front. Next, I added a few flat washers, a split washer, and tightened down the bolts. The split washers and compression from the PVC will keep this from vibrating loose. The last step is to attach the cross beams with these spring nuts. I hadn't heard of these, but they are a standard strut accessory, and if your hardware store has the strut, it'll have the nut. I dropped the standard size bolts that work with the spring nuts, tightened them down, and once that was all good, I took it apart, sprayed everything with truck bed liner, went 4,000 miles with a bunch of weight strapped to it, and it didn't move a millimeter. All right, now the number one reason you might want to make this thing and why I love it, it's that it's a full DIY system. Leading roof rack systems cost a ton of money, they don't have a lot of accessories, and I guarantee parts won't be available if something breaks in a small town. With Unistrut, you can connect as many pieces as you want, erector set style.
The all-steel construction set.
There are a ton of connection points for bungees and ratchet straps. And because plumbers and electricians use this stuff everywhere, most hardware stores will have these corner and T-brackets for connecting pieces together. Flat bars you can use for the same thing. You could get creative with an eye bolt to hang stuff from or chain your unruly dog to. And these L brackets, which, believe it or not, have really helped me through some shit. One of my favorite accessories is the pipe attaching brackets, which held this 5-gallon tank for thousands of miles. They have little hooks that make them really easy to attach to the Unistrut. I mean, it honestly seems like with Unistrut and your imagination, you could build almost anything.
The sky's the limit.
That's the simple truth, folks. Millions of feet are being used all the time, all over the world, saving people time and money. Sure keeps me busy. Well, so long. I'll be seeing you. And don't forget, the sky's the limit when you build with Unistrut.